In my last video, I promised that I would order a bunch of vintage Seikos, and here they are, although don't mind this last one, that one isn't, but the rest are. So that's very exciting. They're in variable conditions. Some of them are almost perfect, but a lot of them need a little bit of fixing. I'll first unbox these tools with you, and then at the very end, maybe we can go through this a little bit, but I'm thinking we'll do a series. I don't know how to do watch restoration. We can learn together. How do we start? Well, hi, I'm Jane. I don't know how to describe myself. I work in the financial services industry in cybersecurity. And I have a very varied background. I've studied civil engineering, disease transmission modeling, classical piano. Hopefully in there somewhere I have some skills that I can use to be able to learn pretty quickly with you. Based off of all of your comments, genuinely, you guys are one of the smartest YouTube communities I've ever seen. I think we could give Computer File a run for their money. Seriously, you guys are so intelligent and talented and have way more abilities than I do. So maybe this will be fun and we can take a choose your adventure approach, although I guess my entire channel is a choose your adventure approach. I have a few other video requests that I still need to get to. This is one of them. I guess I just have to start opening stuff. I'm gonna start with the thing that I think is the most useful for you. And that's this banana for scale. What I've found with watch stuff is everything is so much smaller than I expect it to be. So this should be useful. Let's see. Ooh, I think it's rubber and it says for scale. So that should be clear. Now, there's one thing, I'm sorry I already opened. That is a 10 times loop. And at first, I used it the wrong way. I used it on this end and I was like, why is everything so blurry? So I put my eye on here on the wide end and suddenly I could see like a microscope. Oh, I titled this Brave New Tools in remembrance of the British novel Brave New World, which is about a society where the world state controls how people will be operating in their lives and basically decides for them what their job is in life. There's also this theme of an overreach of technology, so I thought that might be fun because in some small way, I feel like vintage watch restoration is a reaction to that because by definition, a vintage watch is unique through its provenance and through its services and the stories that each of the items collects along the way, a way for us to express our individuality. So this episode is Brave New Tools. That was very academic, but I hope you enjoy. The next item is bracelet sizer. It goes from 4 inches to 10 inches, so we should be covered. Some of you have told me your wrist size already, so I think that includes you. And we have centimeters and inches, so everyone is welcome and accepted, and we will translate into both measurements when we do wrist sizing. I am still setting up my online store, and so I hopefully will be able to use this for bracelets and watches. The only thing is because this is a relatively dense material, I am going to be as gentle as I can be while using it. Apparently this is a standard size banana, whatever that means. If I need to prevent my finger oils from getting onto things, I have very dry fingers, but it's good to have protection. So for case back opening, I got a little crazy and I ordered a bunch of things because every video I've ever seen about case back opening, of which now there are many, everything looks really unsafe. So first I got this, which is the only pink watch tool I could find in the world online. Perfect. Then I got these pieces of plastic to place in between my tool and the watch for protection. More protection. Okay. Along those lines, I have a case vise. It's so tiny. Oh, here we go. So in theory, I can place the watch on this little stand when I open the case back to keep it stable. Now I'm really being obsessive. Now I got an easy snap case back opener from Japan. My suspicion is if you use these things, then something is gonna slip and it could hurt the watch or it could hurt myself. I want to have that as an option, but then I also have this. So we'll open this together. I'm guessing there's blades in here. Yes, there are. And of course the banana for scale. Oh, I guess they have to be on the same plane because this would make it look smaller and this would make it look bigger. So already I think I can tell I'm probably going to use this because it would be less dangerous for the watch. The next thing is a caliper. So I guess now I can measure lug to lugs, what I've always dreamed of. This is a 4 times loop from the same company as my old 10 times loop that I bought used. I have Rodico because all of the videos say you need it, but I'm already skeptical because if this is like Play-Doh, then in theory, the material would leave residue. I'll just have to try it sometime. That is very miniature. And then I have as you'd expect, a metal tweezer. I have purchased a dust blower that stands. And I guess what I'm learning is if you're dealing with really, really small items, then I guess blowing things with your mouth as you would in a normal situation in life might be too strong. I guess you need to be gentle and just kind of do this. This is the only thing I bought that is basically the size that I expected it to be. Even the banana is a little smaller than I thought it would be. We have screwdrivers. Tiny baby screwdrivers. Let's see. So now I can look like a real watchmaker. These are spring bar tools. I got 2. The reason is, every time I see a video about a spring bar tool like this being used, not the ones that clamp on both sides, but these ones, I've seen about 20 of those videos now, and it doesn't make sense to me that you would take the spring bar from one side, because let's say this is the spring bar, and you push down with your tool, like this. If you push down on this side, then wouldn't it warp the bar because this side is still intact inside the lug of the watch? To me, it doesn't make sense why people would push on one side at risk of warping this bar. I'd rather push on both sides at the same time. So I got 2, but maybe that's impossible. Maybe it'll be impossible to use 2 at the same time. But I'll find out. Almost done. I should have probably opened this one first. This is a mat. Every watch video must have this setup. Tweezers, screwdrivers, and a green mat. So I'm ready. Only a couple more, only a couple more. Yeah. A band sizing tool. This is so tiny. Oh my god. I thought this was gonna be like a foot long. So I was at my friend's house this weekend and she has been renovating her house by herself, almost entirely on her own. And she has all these tools laid out in her kitchen and they're all like 100 times bigger than these things. Mine fit in the tiny little apartment I live in. Interesting. So I had not purchased a vise, but I think it comes with a vise. Oh, one more thing. I live near the New York Horological Society, and I failed to get into a class online, so I ordered a membership because apparently you get early notification of classes, but by the time I get into a class where I disassemble a movement and put it back together, I hope that we will do that together, actually. I'll figure that out later after we go through these watches that are quartz and don't need disassembly, but now I have this, which is a membership card and a little pin. So hopefully I'll get to some of their events in the city. And if you are in the city, then I will see you. I think that's it. So now let's talk about the watches. 6 vintage Seiko watches for women, and those of you who want to wear a bracelet, and then we have a Zentra watch. Now, I'll try to run through each of them quickly, what I think needs to be fixed, and what we could do together. I've estimated this watch was manufactured in July 1990. My only complaint is the pins here will fall out partially sometimes, so... Oh, well, now I have tools. Either the watch was made with a pin that's too short, which I doubt, or someone tried to just stick in a random pin that they had so that the bracelet would close. This one, it's actually doing great. It's really great. It keeps decent time. The thing is, I would like to change the crystal. It's very scratched, and so that will be a whole journey, figuring out how to take out a crystal, measuring it, ordering the right size, putting it in, deciding what kind to get. This one is in the best condition. I don't think there's anything to really do with it. There's not much to do with this one either. It has some pleating that's worn off. This one's awful. This one I got from Etsy and it was a 5-star seller, but the crystal's scratched. The back is rusted. I don't even want to show you because it looks gross. I wonder if we can use this as an experiment though. This is pretty decent. The only thing, I'm being picky now. There's like a dirt speck inside of the crystal. I would like to take the crystal out and clean that little speck that bothers me. And same issue with this actually. The fact that someone sold this watch and allowed there to be dirt on the inside of the crystal is disappointing actually. What would you like to see next? We can do anything. I hope you have the best day ever, or night, and see you soon.